How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Railgun, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today, guys, we're going to be taking a look at some Pokemon rumors, leaks, all things of that sort. Let's get started. Now, the first one we're going to be taking a look at right here, ladies and gents, is going to be this one from Army at Japan over on Twitter, who basically replied to a tweet from Marks Morris, who then also quote-tweeted a post from Necrofelipe. Now, what are we talking about here? What is this all about? Well, basically, Necrofelipe is sort of like an insider type guy who is a sort of Nintendo journalist, right? And he specifically tweeted out, "My last before bed, it's time to know the name of the region." He said this, which is quite interesting, because even Soul Silver Art, who you guys already may know from multiple of my videos, who is a leak analyst, is even, intrigued by this. Because, as you guys may know, over on the YouTube channel of Pokemon, they've been doing these weekly countdowns now, where they show off the regions, all the regions, the mainline regions, that being, Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, Unova, Kalos, Alola, and Galar, right? So those are the ones that have been shown off. And they've done this kind of countdown in the past. They did this leading up to the reveal of Sword and Shield back in 2019. So there is proof that they do these as a way to lead up into a brand new, video or ID or something like that. A brand new reveal of a new trailer or something. So they oftentimes do this, and they've been doing it now too. Now people are saying, "Oh no, next week is Hisui." I don't think so, because Hisui is literally just Sinnoh, so it doesn't make any sense to do that. Plus, it's set in the past, unlike the others, which are actually visitable, which are set in our present time. So keep that in mind, okay? Just wanted to point that out and say it, because if even this guy is saying, it's about time we know the region name, it makes sense that next week we're gonna get that info. So that's what we're all kind of combined agreeing on. That next week we're going to be seeing around Wednesday or Thursday, sometime around there, most likely a brand new trailer or a Pokemon Presents. I'm thinking it's just going to be a trailer and no Presents, but you never know. It could be a literal Presents, which might have more info in it than just Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. But hey, at the end of the day, anything is possible. Just keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on to the next thing, which is quite interesting. This comes from Centro Pokemon, which is a I think it's Spanish website. You guys may know them already. But Sancho specifically came out and said, or posted this, saying, "The new Pokemon TCG set that's, coming out, or out, I guess, includes a Dynamax Deoxys card." Which is funny, because ironically, it is impossible in the games, Sword and Shield, to actually have a Dynamax Deoxys, since this Pokemon does not exist in the game itself. Interesting now, isn't it? Okay, very, very interesting, because usually there is a connection between the cards and stuff like that. Sometimes they leave hints. Even for Galar, there were hints in the TCG sets before Sword and Shield came out that literally hinted at specifically it being based on the UK. So there is usually some little hints in the TCG, but oftentimes they're very far away in a way. Like, they're not super, on the nose and whatnot. But this one, it's a bit strange, giving the people the impression that, is it possible Dynamaxing in one way or shape is going to actually return in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? Now, I don't know. I really don't care, to be honest about it. But I know a lot of people do like Dynamaxing, so they might want to see it return in some way or shape. So, honestly, I think if they do make it return in some way or shape, plus have a new gimmick, I think that'd be great, because that means that they're not giving up on an existing feature. However, we'll have to wait and see if that's going to be the case and what they're going to do with that. So just keep that in mind. Move on to the next thing, which is a pretty big one from Soul Silver Art, who pretty much put together a breakdown on one of the riddles we got from Riddler Coup. If you do not know who Riddler Coup is, TLDR, he's a leaker guy who's been leaking info through his really, mysterious little riddles over on Twitter. So here's what's been happening, though. Many have forgotten about these twins, but not I. And I think I might have figured out what they are. Sadly, I can't say it until further hints are confirmed. I know that's lame. I'm now just connected it to something I was made aware of months ago. This is more than a I told you so. And he says, tweet for when it's revealed, but I could also be very wrong about this riddle, so it might turn into a I was wrong tweet. However, I did hint at it twice, appropriate, I know, within the past month. If anyone wants to go crazy looking, I won't confirm or deny anything either way. So now even Soul Silver is kind of riddling his own stuff here. But basically what he's referring to here is this tweet we got from Ku, where he said, "Me training my puppy," showing off a doggy that's biting, I guess, a ball of sorts. And then when the dinosaur bites it, the guy hits the dinosaur head when the doggy doesn't want to do it anymore, kind of giving this impression of a obedient and a more aggressive head, which people then were connecting to the fact that, is this maybe connected to the myth of the Cerberus, or actually the other one, there's a two-headed one, which I think is an Orthus, right? That's the I guess brother of Cerberus, which is two-headed and has one head that's mischievous and one head that's calm and collected and chill, And here it is. Orthrus or Orthus was a monster in Greek mythology, a dog with 2 heads and brother of Cerberus. So basically he's saying that he might have some confirmation on one of his theories here. Now, if that theory is that, well, Cerberus and whatnot, or Orthus in this case, would actually be returning in some weird shape, we don't know. We'll have to wait and see if that's going to be the case though. But quite an interesting theory nonetheless. I want you guys' thoughts and opinions on this in the comment section down below. Moving on to the next thing, which is slightly larger. This is a more recent thingy, but here's what Soul Silver has to say about it. Basically, it's a post from Riddler who said the following, right? He showed this image of a character from Railgun, I think, an anime, and then those letters up there, C, C, D, D, E, E, F, F, E, D, C, and then I think a 0 at the end. And then he just kind of let us roam wild with it. And people are saying, you know, what could this be? And, you know, they were looking at it. Jordan says, so Railgun Frog, possibly electric type. Some people are saying possibly a psychic type too. The girl in the picture is a psychic Esper. And then they say her psychic power as a psychic is literally just controlling electricity and magnetic fields. I'll say this makes her effectively an electric type rather than a psychic type. If Ku wanted to hint psychic, there are better characters in this very same image to use. Very true. And apparently the character picture loves some frog toy, so there's some extra emphasis on frogs, which is quite interesting of a connection. Then there's also the doggy there, which is Tuaru Majutsu no Index, and then I don't know, there was an emphasis on this one as well, but apparently it's a golden retriever with an arithmetic circuits externally attached to him. He wears a collar and a backpack with robotic arms built into it. So weird, I guess, a robot dog of sorts almost. Like, that's kind of what I'm getting from this. But a weird case, nonetheless. Really weird case. But he's saying here, they're probably the last new Pokemon, new Pokemon month. So this month, Riddler has been giving us just brand new Pokemon info. Letters are clearly music notes, but we just had to find which song. Add the anime characters to that, and we get electric, music, and then frog. And possibly psychic too. Finally, the pup turns out it's just a dog in the same anime, so it's probably just a Centro tag, I guess, in this case. And he continues on. Super big thanks to Jordan, Solaris, Bun Prince, Star Bunny, and HH Jan, I guess in this case, for all this info. And you guys can see down here, look at the picture of this character more. Wouldn't it be fun if this is a Psychic Zap Frog, which had a connection to the Coin Object Pokemon? Like, it shoots those coin Pokemon from its cannon or mouth, kind of like Cramorant, which I think would be a really cool idea, right? I think it'd be really sick. More lore to help our headcanon. I'm very excited about this one. That's her signature and strongest attack called Railgun, which literally is even part of the actual show. Pretty sure she just uses her electrical powers to fire anything magnetic towards her opponents. Doesn't necessarily need to be a coin, but that's the most common and iconic thing she uses. And the move Railgun is written as this in kanji. Fairly sure there's actually a move in Pokemon that can be written in the same way in Japanese, which translates to Zap Cannon in English. Just imagine using that kind of electricity to fire a coin. And honestly, I think that'll be sick. Now, if you guys don't know what they're talking about when it comes to the coin Pokemon, now let me explain. The coin Pokemon is something that was also riddled by Riddler Ku, possibly hinting at it turning into a mimic. Now, mimics are kind of this fantasy creature, which are more or less like, you know, gold chests, like a chest of, you know, filled with gold that actually is alive and kind of evil in a way, right? They can also be good or bad, I think, but usually they got big teeth, they're scary, and they're basically a chest that's literally alive. And why am I saying this? Well, because we think we're going to be getting a coin-based Pokemon that's going to turn into then a chest mimic, right, as an evolution. And it's possible that, you know, this new Pokemon right here, this one is going to be kind of like the Railgun-related one, whatever, if it's a frog or not, I don't really know. But that this one is going to be having some kind of cannon that it's going to shoot those coins out of, right, with electrical kind of, you know, prowess or power, whatever you want to call it, is going to be shooting out these coins the same way that Cramorant just chunks up a Pikachu and just yeets it at people. So basically the same premise as that is what I'm trying to say. Something along those lines. Again, if that's going to happen or not, that's up for debate. We'll have to wait and see what happens down the line, but I do think it's quite an interesting theory nonetheless. Moving on to the next thing, which is also from Soul Silver saying, since this is a tough, it's also a perfect time to share this. My friend made us a Discord, which I think you guys should go and join. This one I've actually been inside of, and there is some interesting stuff there, specifically breakdowns on these, you know, this kind of like thingy right here, what do you call the Morse code that Riddler put out, which we haven't been able to fully figure out yet. This is like the hardest one, which I think a lot of people need to take a look at. Here, for example, my page put together saying, you know, if you break down the Morse, it's 5135, 1F, 15, 5D, 21, 51, 5D, 48, 48. Go to hexadecimal base 10, you get those numbers. Go, and then from T9 phone message, which gives you those. Keyboard shift, you get those. And then here, he just doesn't know what happens, and then you need to reverse it. So they're very close to trying to break it down, but like they just can't get to the final answer. And he did tell us to reverse the code at the end, and we would get the answer. But that's the thing, nobody's been able to fully figure it out yet, and what he's trying to tell us here. So this is honestly going to be the hardest riddle, because nobody's been able to crack the code yet, because you need to figure out like which way do you go, right? Because there's so many different ways you can break it down. First of all, you know it's Morse. That's the first thing we know. Then we know that you can definitely like, well, after that, that's where it becomes difficult. Either you have to decrypt it in hexadecimal, but it depends on which, you know, which one you're going with, right? Which base are you starting with? So there's a lot of variables to it that make it so difficult to figure out what he's referring to here, which is quite annoying, but it is what it is. So next up is this from Soul Silver. Now Soul Silver was drawing actually this really awesome little like skeleton Pokemon here, but interestingly, he just came out and said, wait, no, and he compared Fuecoco, Bowser, and then well, basically this kind of like skeleton looking thing to Dry Bowser. Interesting, to say the least, because it is speculated that Fuecoco is going to evolve to have a skull face mask type thing, which matches with the Coco, which is like, you know, kind of like I said, a boogeyman in Iberian or Latin culture, more or less. So weird connections there, and he continues to say, I'm just saying, and then he shows off this kind of traditional dragon thingy that exists within, like, you know, I guess the Iberian Peninsula. And you can see right here, alligators can also be referred to as bulls, which is interesting. So that fits well with the bull on the Chinese zodiac, which is quite strange. And then also here we have the fact that it might have like a head of fire because of all the overflowing fire energy that it has. Plus the fact that it likes to eat like apples and shit. We kind of have, you know, that info as well. Really strange. It says, I don't know if the Bowser connection was understood. I'm trying to get all my Fuecoco theories out before Ku's June 30th. Because on June 30th, he's giving us the final info for brand new Pokemon. Bowser has horns instead of ears, blows fire, and is a dragon in a shell. Then Eclipse hit us with the Scalret dragon, so Dry Bones Bowser. Also a fun coincidence. But Ghost Pepper is also the name of a bull that participated in bullfighting. Given how sometimes they base starters with something from the region, like School Bunny being based on soccer, the Bull Pepper Ghost with elements of a croc might be the evil of Fuecoco. And again, this could be a case where they're reworking a beta Pokemon. They've done this in the past. This is not impossible. I'm just saying, they've done this in the past. They did this. Literally, possibly they've done it with Palmy, but we know for a fact they did it with Surfetched. Surfetched 100% already existed in the past. Even the same colors, for crying out loud. And they literally just recreated it in Pokemon Sword and Shield. So the proof is there. The proof is in the pudding, ladies and gentlemen. They definitely do bring back old design IDs that they had. They do that for a fact. And the fact that we have this right here, of course, which I already covered from Lindsay Sensei, but the fact that they do exist these very similar looking cards here that are known as the Tensho Karuda Aces. They look oddly similar to Fuecoco in design, but look more snake-like almost. And these are actually Portuguese in origin, a part of the region what like the real world location is for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of odd connections, to say the least. But let's move on to, I think, the final thing for this video, which we already kind of covered this a little bit in the past, which again was about the code. But there was this previous post, which was made by Riddler with this book, and then he says that this is the wordplay series. This riddle told you a new Pokemon straightforwardly and covertly at the same time. It's a little bit harder, so no puppy flag is added. But basically, we were speculating in this case, or at least Soul Silver was speculating, that it could be based a new Pokemon that looks kind of similar to Rikuo, which is kind of a character in Darkstalkers franchise of video games. So he was kind of speculating it might be something similar to that, based on the fact that like the actual title in here is actually Rikuo as well. And then like it has, you know, it says next Israel battle, Rikuo, and then it's just like, you know, info about the book itself, which was translated. And we continue on here. It says, basically, this could be related to the first riddle, but it's more likely about the second riddle he was coming with. It's definitely Morse code, which we already kind of have, you know, gotten through. And then he continues on and says, not much progress made on either of these riddles, but there are two of the much better theories, which we've already kind of covered this in a previous video, that, you know, somebody thought maybe it might be the word for cognac in there. If you break it all down from the Morse to the Hex to the, you know, Hex UTF-16 there, you might get that answer, which we don't know if that's going to be the case. But 22 hours ago, he posted this, saying, people working away on this. Sadly, I'm out of my depth on all these codes, added with being on vacation. I've zero time to look into it. But here is what Blaze basically asked him. We asked Riddler directly, saying, are they all the same riddle? Showing off the Morse code, and, you know, like, well, twice the Morse code, then the wordplay series, and also the, you know, decryption stuff, as well as the book. And he says they're independent. So these are not all connected. They are separate entities, which means that we have multiple Pokemon being leaked to us here, but we just don't know exactly where to start with it, okay? We just do not know what to look for. That's the biggest issue. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be pretty much it for this video, guys. If you did enjoy it, drop a like down below. Thank you for watching. My name has been Railgun, and I will be seeing you all in the next one. Peace out, and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.